all of you wonderful beings out there, and welcome to the stream. I am Razim, and this is DevTales, where we're going to be working on our custom SCAR system, or Stories and Creatures in Alternate Realities. This system is available for open playtest on our Discord as well as itch.io. Go take a look at it, let us know what you think. For now, we are also using the TF talkie, so transform me to your heart's content. And up there in the upper right, we've got Placid Plastic Duck Sim, because quack.
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 Quack, 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 quack. Okay, now with that all out of the way, yeah, let's get into suggestions. Also, somebody else can
Mostly
do the
gonna be
notes today. What was that?
I said it's mostly going to be magic from what I saw.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, this is a lot. Like I said, I was not prepared. Yeah. I'm aware and somewhat prepared, but I am fried after crunching the update this week. So, yeah.
Reading Key's thesis statement.
No, Blue Bat has some suggestions. Some magic suggestions.
Yep.
Alright, Tal. Magic's your area, so you get to read that off.
All right. So first one is Channel
Think fast, Sir
Celestial.
Irabane, because Thelord Beerus is smooching you.
Marla, please don't interrupt us in the dev session.
First up is Channel Celestial, school being Divination. Expend version being cost X motes, causes X other words in the spell to have the affinity associated with the time of the year.
That sounds confusing as heck.
And then it says storyteller world building required. The burn version being causes X times 3 other words in the spell to have affinity with time of year, where it doesn't count against your word limit.
So...
Well, off the dome, we have more affinities than there are months usually.
Yeah, that just... I also
And-
wouldn't put that into divination. That sounds like a chaos thing.
That is more entropy than anything. Also, because you're able to buy and sell things whenever you want, if it didn't have the affinity you wanted at the time, you would just sell it, and then you'd buy it back when you cared again. But the other thing to bring up is that it's not any cheaper than the elementalism affinity type word, because that's also X times 1. And you just get to pick when you pick it up. Like, if you want it to be fire, it will just always be fire.
I could see an argument for a version of this that lets you pick an elemental variety of your god or something like that, but I'm not sure how
getting
that'd be.
into pure or that starts getting more into like pure typing than anything.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm not sure how that would be balanceable easily. At that point, just take type affinity.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea, but I think we're going to pass on this one, Blue Bat, because it just...
it just has questionable. There's already a word that does what it does, but without trying to gamble on what time of year it is, and requires storytellers to assign affinities to sections of the year.
That said, it did I did get an idea because of this of a word where you roll dice to decide what type the spell actually is.
Yeah.
Which would be a great thing for entropy.
Yep.
That is very true.
E.g., throw in the entropy slot and later.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get back to that later. For now, just make note of it there, Tao. Yeah, well, actually, I don't know if we want to use prismatic Vari, because that might be too close to a certain other very litigious corporation, and I frankly do not want, you know, a certain pink group showing up at my door.
I'd always call it Spectrum.
There we go. We'll go with Spectrum. The big difficulty is figuring out what it is that they roll to determine what type it is, but because we've got 16 types.
Yeah. But also, you know, we can figure it out.
I guess if they use that, we literally just say, just use Google to do a random dice roller for 16. They don't necessarily, like, everybody's got... You all have phones, right?
Don't have phones, right?
Oh
I'm
my gosh.
Sure, I can math it if you give me a few seconds.
Apparently, that triggered Rex. You don't have a
It
phone,
triggered a lot of
Paradoxical?
people.
Well, you've got a computer right in front of you that can also do it.
Well,
Not you, computer, the other computer.
actually, funnily enough, they'd need to roll like 21 from a thing of 21, or 24 if we include the super types.
No,
Because
definitely not
there's-
including those.
Because there's, instead of it being 16, it's 15 plus basic, but basic doesn't do anything by itself, I guess, and it would instead be the subtypes, of which there's technically 6 of those, because there's the 3 basic ones and then the upgraded version of those.
I don't think we'd include the upgraded ones.
No,
So
So
that'd
then it'd
be
be
1
back
through
down to 18.
18?
19 if we include basic type with nothing attached to it.
You're already rolling d10s. Roll a d100 and compare it to a chart.
Well, yeah, but we need the chart to be divisible.
Fair enough, I suppose.
Okay, do 2d10. No, that won't work. We would have
That
to
won't
do the
work because-
percentile. But a
Yep.
result of... The excess is just they get to roll twice and pick which one they want from those 2 results.
Okay.
It depends on how complicated we want the math to be, because if it's 1 through 18, if I am doing the math right and thinking this through... No, that won't work. Hold on.
Well, if we do it cleanly and it's 18, it would have to be 90% of the D100 is dedicated to it in 5-point increments, and then everything else get set to the roll twice. And because we normally do roll under, I guess it would be like, I don't know, like 1 through 9 or 1 through 10 would be the roll twice, and then everything else would be its own type.
Yeah, the D10s would be rough. Because if...
Well, that's why we're
also,
doing the D100. We can't do the D10.
3 plus D3.
We're saying we'll
No.
do percentile. And a little mouse. And Vari, definitely no to that. Because obviously the storyteller is probably going to choose the thing that will hurt the enemy the least, and that's just going to get them yelled at. I'm speaking from experience on that.
Well, yeah, of course the storyteller's gonna do the thing that hurts the enemy the least, because they planned out this whole combat and they don't need it to be shorter.
Hey. Not one. So.
But we can math that out later, because that particular school isn't exactly in play currently.
Nope, but that's also because, you know, kind of need to know what a lot of the other stuff does before we start actually building out the random chance gamble machine.
Yeah.
Anyways, I wrote down stuff about the spectrum word.
Julio.
So you can go ahead and delete the other one. Yep.
Oh, I was doing the discuss suggestions thing.
Yeah,
Alright,
yeah.
read the next one.
Next one up is Obscure inside the Illusion tree. Expend version X times 2 motes disrupts all divination spell components of spell tier X from being affected on a target for X turns. Okay, weird wording, but I'm just going to assume that it disables divination spell school, like spell words on a target.
Yeah, that's what I'm rating it as. It's anti-scrying, basically.
And then the next one says destroys, but then it also has the timer, where it's just X minutes instead. So I don't know if it's supposed to be auto-destroy all divination spells on a target for the next X minutes, or if it's just supposed to be a disrupt again.
I think, based on the verbiage, I think the expend just makes it harder to use, and the burn makes it so that way they just don't work, if I think I'm understanding this correctly.
Well, not doesn't work. It would have to like actually just get rid of them entirely, because then otherwise they're not destroyed.
Yeah. E.g., hard counter.
Yeah, which is also weird because divination spells are supposed to hard counter the illusions, because that's how you get true sight, which grants true sight rating and lets you see through illusions of seamless level equal or lower than the true sight rating. So then this would be an illusion spell that would then get rid of true sight, which feels a little arms racy.
Thank you for the biddies, mouse.
However, there is some actual use on it, because there are certain divination spells like Fortune and Omen that you would want to get rid of. potentially, because those have like combat implications, as well as, I guess, veracity, which is how the truth/lie divination spell. But it also feels weird if it's allowed to disrupt true sight, because then, you know, the illusion person puts on seamless in order to make it so that way you need true sight to even notice it's an illusion, and then so the divination guy tries putting on true sight to see through the illusions, so then the illusion guy uses obscure in order to obscure the true sight. So it feels a little arms racy.
Don't we already have... the other side of this is we already have things like Dispel and Counter.
Yeah.
Which do basically the same thing, except for the, you know, preventing it part, I suppose. But...
yeah, it doesn't do the prevent. I just thought about the dumbest circle of arms race possible. Oh my god, this is potentially so dumb.
Oh no.
So, Illusion Mage puts up an illusion. Divination Mage puts up True Sight to see through the illusion. The Illusion Mage proceeds to obscure the Divination Mage. However, because there is an illusion spell that works to destroy illusions, I think there's one that does that. There's another thing that helps disable illusions temporarily. Would then use it on that to get the true sight back. Maybe it's not an illusion spell. Maybe it's a... no, it's a different divination thing. Yeah, so there is a divination version of this. I had to go double check, where it works to destroy illusions. So this is just a mirror spell. Not like the actual mirror spell, but it just mirrors a spell that does the same thing in the opposing school.
Well, do you want
Except
to
it also
include
apparently tries to... The only thing that I definitely wouldn't include is the timed prevention, because unless we're including that on the divination one. Oh wait, no, this does it against a target. Disillusion, you have to target a spell, not a creature. So the divination version pops a spell, like identified spell components that are illusion. This one prevents a target from getting divination spells used on them. So there is an actual difference between the two.
Well, you know the balance of the magic system better than anyone, so I'm indifferent on this one.
I'd say that it'd be fine. The only thing that we'd have to get rid of is the timed prevention.
How long does the time... well, wouldn't that leave it as a permanent thing then? You just cast this on somebody and they're permanently...
No, it would just, like, spot destroy.
Okay, so it'd be a spot destroy instead of a time destroy. Okay.
Yeah, because the time prevention would make it so that way it would basically be impossible to stop illusion users if there was a time prevention, because the only way to really get past illusions is with divination. So you would just do a time prevention of divination on everyone using an illusion school spell, and then they can no longer disable or disrupt basically any of your spells properly, because they won't even be able to identify if it's an illusion or not in order to properly counterspell or use a dispel.
Okay.
Because then you wouldn't know if what you're targeting is even real or not. So it like it would turn into a fucking mess if there was time prevention.
Thank you for the biddies, Mouse. You know, we've got this spell. And that's basically what this is. Especially if we're removing the, you know, it protects them for a while thing. Am I
Yeah, but
wrong?
Dispel is also X times 15.
Oh,
And is an anti-permanence effect as well. So Dispel is also how you anti-permanence something. So like if someone tries to like curse you, or like puts a permanent curse on an object or something, Dispel is how you get rid of stuff like that.
So, like, the difference between Dispel and Counterspell.
Counterspell lets you poke holes in opposing spells when it's being cast if you can identify the words that are being used on it.
Right. I do apologize. I just put up my game so I could better pay attention to what's going on. What are we talking about right now?
Spells.
Spells.
we're in the
So-
Scar Suggestions channel.
Yeah, so
Cool,
Dispel is like the full-on, like, cancel magic on target spell.
I think what we should
If it's
do-
not permanent, it checks spell level, by the way.
I think what we should do is split Dispel. So that way you have one part of it that is the, you know, we got one that is removing permanence. And then the other that is just get this effect off of the person. Kind of like how we have, you know, remove condition and such on moves and
Jerk.
whatnot.
Well, you can't use remove condition to remove a negative condition on someone. It only works to destroy
that-
positive conditions.
That's aside from the point. I'm saying
I guess my
maybe
one-
we should come up with something that's cheaper and a bit more accessible rather than having a bunch of words that are very pinpoint on this only works on divination, this only works on illusion, etc., etc. Because we could have, you know, a dozen words that are all specifically targeting different schools, or we just make one generalized dispel.
Yeah, the only ones that do the that were doing the targeted thing was divination and illusion, but that's because those are the only two that are like actually just straight up like opposite.
But what I'm saying is maybe we should just go ahead and make one that is generalized and can target anything. It's obviously not going to be a guaranteed chance. We'll probably have it be a roll-off or something. Yeah, maybe a disrupt word, Vari.
Well, we do it. It's called disrupt magic, where it increases difficulty for casting and maintaining magic. It's called disrupt magic. But that's to disrupt like the active casting of magic, not to like get rid of it in a given area.
Oh, is it?
Because the thing that I'm thinking of is just that if there's a cheap word, or cheaper, like compared to like X times 15, if there is a cheaper magic word that works to get rid of active magical effects on someone, it kind of like instantly becomes a mage's, okay, well, I'm gonna pick this up and max level it thing, because it quickly turns into a magic button for counter every other mage that you are going against. Because the moment that they spend anything big, you just point at it and try and get rid of it for like on the cheap.
I mean, I'm not necessarily saying it'll be cheap, just cheaper than 15.
Well, yeah, but part of the reason that Dispel is so expensive is that, like, it kind of has to go up against the cost of, like, an entire spell by itself, potentially. So if the Dispel thing is cheaper than the actual, like, magic that it's getting rid of, then it just quickly turns into abjuration magic duels where all the magic users go no magic for you instead of actually doing anything. And I'm just worried about making it so that way there's the availability of do nothing gets kind of high, so that's just what I'm worried about. Because the way that you fuck up a mage then is cast the Dispel all active magic on something word, and then combo that with Disrupt magic, so that way they can't cast anything again. And they may not have the no magic condition on them, but then they kind of basically can't cast any spells, really. Without having to go up the whole no magic condition.
I don't think we should include this particular word. I think having the Dispel is fine on its own, personally. I feel like we're opening Pandora's box by opening or adding this word.
The obscure,
Does it be like
the
putting
one
out
that
a
Blue Bat?
I'm referring to the one that Blue Bat does.
Yeah.
I think we should leave Dispel alone because Dispel is fine. It's good enough catch-all. And reading it, it says if there is no permanence rating to the spell, destroy the spell should its spell level be equal or less than X. So you can already use Dispel in the way to remove effects.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine putting in Blue Bat's thing if we just make it like a mirror and we don't put in the prevention. Because the prevention is what really makes me wary about Blue Bat's suggestion.
We're not
And then splitting up... Okay.
We're not going to take Blue Bat's suggestion. If we do add it, then I'm going to insist on just making a general one, because that, like you were saying, opens a lot of... Okay, well, why not have a, remove magic of this school on that school? And this school on that school, and that school on that one. I don't want to have that.
Yeah, and the main reason that Divination has the whole disillusion spell in the first place is True Sight doesn't let you like break the illusion for anyone else. So you would be in the very funny situation of being an anti-illusion wizard and you can see through all the illusions, but you can't do anything about them. But yeah, so if we're not putting it in, then we're not putting it in.
Alright, so next up from Blue Bad, Interpret. 2 modes, attempt to interrupt up to X details of an easy to identify symbol or written word. And then attempt to interpret up to X details of a symbol, language, or written word that may be difficult to identify, such as through poor understanding and knowledge or chicken scratch. Oh, so you'll need to use this to actually understand anything a doctor writes. Got it.
Yeah. I was thinking of the same joke. I was gonna say, oh, it's cool. So I know something that Hex will have to pick up just to read his brother's handwriting.
Not his fault. It's a weird phenomenon. It's been studied, I swear.
All right. So I've got an immediate question that comes to mind with that. So it says attempt to interpret up to X details of an easy to identify symbol or written word. What would determine whether or not it's easy?
Easy, not putting that part in.
Easy, not putting that part in. Fair enough.
No.
But like, just on if it's in a different language for someone who's a native speaker, there's no point in this at all. But for someone who's not a native speaker of the foreign language, you may have no basis for even attempting to understand it.
Well, here's a minor suggestion with this. Honestly, I think it would be better if it was more of an understanding the language first, and then obscure symbols as the burn. I would reverse that a little bit. That way it becomes a generic understand language spell. But you can also use it.
You're thinking the first tier is the understand languages, whereas the burn would be understanding like encoded or encrypted stuff. Would be closer to understanding like thieves' cant or if someone wrote something in a obtuse way that is obtuse the right word?
So
obscure way.
Not necessarily obscure, but there's also magical symbols that you may not be able to read, among other things, or religious icons. Like, for instance, before we could read hieroglyphics, something like that, maybe. But we can also leave that vague for ST discretion.
Yeah, I'm not going to include the easy to identify or difficult to identify stuff because that you're trying to magically interpret it anyways. What does it matter?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the word easy could really mess somebody up.
Yeah. So I'm just going to strip that out of it, and I'm fine otherwise starting with written words and the upgrade goes into symbols. Because symbols you're less likely to identify anyway.
Do we want to stick with only written? Do we want it to be vocalized language as well?
I'm fine with either, but divination has a lot of sight-based thing. Well, it has some of both, but it has mostly sight. But
I'm good with it being spoken as well. Basically, just magic to be able to understand another language.
Besides, you're gonna have to spam cast this anyway on the expend version in order to like have a conversation, so it definitely doesn't replace being fluent in the language.
And also, like, you're gonna have to put a lot of motes into it if you're going to actually fully understand it, because my interpretation here is you're going to get the broken English with the with just one a tier 1 casting.
Yeah, you'll get like a detail about it.
You vaguely understand they are talking about a banana.
Yeah, but that's already better than what you're getting if you don't know shit about what they're saying anyway. So
Exactly.
You
all you got to do is
cast it a little bit more, and you realize they're not talking about a banana.
They're talking about a banana as a euphemism.
So yep, that's fine. I went ahead and put that in.
Alright.
Coolio?
So next up after interpret is douse.
Yeah, which I doubt we're gonna put in. Just looking at it, but sure. Douse, another divination spell. 3 motes, points out.
Oh, dear.
We lost Tao.
My Discord decided to die first.
Oh.
We heard.
Anyways, X times 3 motes points out the direction of the nearest piece of a chosen material within X times 20 feet range. Cannot douse for rare and high tier materials. With the burn version being points out the location of nearest piece of chosen material within X times 40 feet range. Which normally when we make this sort of stuff, we have them choose a material when they purchase the word instead of letting them freeform choose a material whenever they want.
Also, just for future reference, Blue Bat, we do not include ranges in these because you have access to, you know, the different ranges in the as words, and these are not meant to be full spells. These are parts of spells, even if it is just douse plus range.
Yeah.
So douse basically find the location of a material, whatever the material it was that you picked when you bought the word.
That's normally how we do material-based things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't see how useful that would
I
be.
can see use in it enough to add it.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be X times 3, though.
No. However, I don't think divination is the right school for it. There it is. I think instead, just pulling up all the different schools.
I honestly don't know what would be better for it, but if you got a different idea, go ahead.
I was thinking elementalism.
Any reason why?
Just, you know, it's all about various elements, and this is you trying to find an element. I mean, divination's not a terrible decision for it. I just feel like that might feel a little bit better. Or possibly thaumaturgy to, you know, draw yourself towards it. What was that?
Okay.
I was about to say thaumaturgy. personally,
Yeah,
if we're not doing.
I think thaumaturgy might work better.
If we're not doing divination, then thaumaturgy would be the next, I think. But searching for things like dowsing is typically considered a divination type of thing. But yes,
If we are doing thaumaturgy, then what I'm gonna want for part of this is going to be a requirement that you have the material on you to try and search for more of it.
yes,
I'm actually
absolutely.
I think that
that
should
would make
already.
it a thaumaturgy.
I think that should already be a thing, anyways, with this.
You have to have a piece of the material to be able to douse for more of it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Do we
That
want
makes
to do we
sense.
want to keep the name Douse, or do we want to make it more like Resonate?
I think Douse is fine.
I could see
Douse is fine. It's generic of enough term that nobody can claim it.
Yeah.
I'm true.
Does that mean that we're lifting the chosen material restriction at the beginning, since you have to have a piece of said material to begin with?
Yeah.
That would be fine with me then.
That
yeah.
would make it more useful. Yes.
But it also prevents people from walking to a dungeon and being like, "Oh, I'm gonna look for platinum," unless
Without
you happen to have a
having-
piece of platinum platinum on you.
Yeah, unless you already have the platinum.
And also,
And at
allows you
that point, you're
almost
still gonna have to
identify
put enough
materials.
AOE on that in order to like actually cover a dungeon, or else be walking through the dungeon spamming out douse platinum, douse platinum, douse platinum in the middle of a dungeon.
Also, counterpoint
Making-
can also make it useful for identifying materials like fool's gold.
Yep.
So yes, there we go. And I know groups that would walk through a dungeon going douse, get platinum, douse platinum, douse platinum, douse platinum.
Yeah, but that's when you have them
I-
get attacked, because they're just shouting douse platinum over and over in a magical language.
I have had players. When I was running organized play with D&D, we were doing the one vampire guy. I can't.
Strahd?
Strahd, yes. We were doing Curse of Strahd, and the table literally we're walking 5 feet, casting detect magic, another 5 feet, cast detect magic, and this was just the entirety of the dungeon. I was so ready to just be like, you know what? Rock's fault. You're all dead. Get out.
Wait.
Were they
Were they
casting it?
using a spell slot for that, or were they taking the time to ritual cast it every
Ritual
5 feet?
cast.
But it. Never mind. I'm not going to bother about it.
The-
That
Yeah, no, get them attacked. If they're doing that, just get they
problem
stop.
is-
You make
cast
you
every
make it
5
50 feet.
feet.
Having spent over an hour doing this, you are now attacked by a group that has wandered by.
the problem is that I
Yeah.
wasn't allowed to do that because it was organized play, so I had to strictly go by the goddamn fucking module.
Is this 5e?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's Strahd.
I thought. Hold on.
Strahd's an old module that has been readapted and re-released for different versions.
Well, yeah, but the only time where I've heard it being popular for any sort of organized play is 5e.
Fair. Okay.
I still have to ask because there's technically 2 versions of 5e.
The original
But
one,
no.
not the whatever bullshit they're doing
5.5.
now.
Not
I
5.5.
had to look it up. The spell lasts like 10 minutes, so I don't. That's stupid. That's a complete and utter waste.
That's why I said, like, you
Okay.
make it 50 feet and then go, like...
Okay.
Go ahead.
I am technically exaggerating here, but it was still. It felt like they were casting it every 5 feet.
That is painful.
It's still stupid. It lasts a while. Only use it when you need it.
Okay, Era, I was exaggerating how frequently they were
I-
doing it.
I understand that. I am still saying it is stupid to spam cast it. Period.
Yes. Every time it wore off, they'd cast it again.
That's pointless.
Especially because it's just, go ahead and delete that. I already have it. And we got a lot to go over, so might as well make it through more of these.
Where were we? Here we were.
Alright, next up, Blip. 9 modes causes an affected item to be displaced in time, which leads to it disappearing for X number of turns. Then the burn causes an affected entity to be displaced in time, which leads it to disappearing for X number of minutes. Creatures must roll to resist.
No, this is literally just worse banishment. Because we already have Banish, which is an X times 5, which banishes... even the expend version of Banish does target entity from current realm.
I can see the making an item disappear for X amount of turns.
Entity counts for creatures and items.
Yep. Neat concept, but something already exists.
Yeah.
I was saying that we could create an item-only version for cheap would be okay-ish, but there's not really a point.
That and it was like a lot more expensive anyway. But the other thing just being, if you want to make an item disappear from the current dimension, use Pocket. Which is also a conjuration spell, funnily enough.
Alright, so next up, Wink. 9 modes, displaces an item in space, teleporting it to a random location within X times 5 feet, displaces an entity in space, teleporting them to a random location within X times 10 feet.
Again, range is a word in of itself.
Well, no.
Right.
So there's a difference between
No?
an area of effect and a, discrete range on it. So this is fine because it isn't inducing the range in which it can work. At base, you still have to cast this in melee. It's just from their original position, they will show up within that amount of feet.
Okay, I get it.
We'd have to codify how to choose the random direction,
We'd have to make scatter rules.
which isn't too difficult.
Also, I don't. Hey, Bluebat, were you trying to make like a custom school here because we don't have a space school?
I think he has been wanting to introduce, because, yeah, the next one also is meant for this space one. But for space, yeah, for these ones, that would probably fall under either kinetics or... well, really just kinetics, I think.
Well, this wink spell, I would be also fine with it going into entropy.
It probably should go into entropy due to if we keep the random nature of it.
Yeah. Which I'm not against. That is a fun spell. Also, BRB, I'm going to take my meds really quick. It would be a fun spell for an entropy mage. Just be like, nope, you go random direction.
Well, it's also the funniest way to potentially get out of like manacles or like a prison cell ever. If you don't have access to other teleportation, or even if you're like restrained, you just cast Wink on yourself, and then like you keep gambling until you roll something where you're not inside your manacles. Because you're just displacing the item over and over, so you cast it, and then you just keep
Eventually,
casting it.
you'll get it where you want to go. By nature of random chance.
Well, either way, I'm saying kinetics because kinetics does have to do with the movement of things. That is one of its, you know, parts.
Yeah, that's fair.
I know it is a random location, but I don't think that by itself should necessarily put it into entropy. Um, Either way, though, I think it might be a little too expensive.
Oh, it
At least,
definitely is.
yeah, at least for the expend version. The burn, I think that one is a little bit more understandable, but otherwise, I'm good with it.
Also, Bluebat, just so you know, if you write in creatures must roll to resist, what that says is that the caster doesn't roll. The caster just has an SR, and then the defender has to roll something to try and beat the SR. So I don't think you want to be saying that on these sorts of things.
Yeah,
Because creature must roll to resist means that it's the onus is on the defender.
yeah, it's always on the attacker to roll in this system. But as far as the cost on it goes for moats, I'm gonna trust your judgment on that, Tao, because you know the other spells better.
Yeah, there's a couple things that are like that do similar-ish enough things that like I can go and figure out the exact moat cost for it. But for now, I'm going. Wink, which is either entropy or kinetics.
On a side note for the random direction, D8 is kind of standard for which direction, and then we can just do up and down as well with the D10. That way it's simple. No additional dice. Now I look forward to the person that uses that as their main spell.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hi, Vari.
Just become a disco mage.
Whoop! Now I'm over here. Whoop! Now I'm over here. Whoop! Now I'm
No,
over
you
here.
cast it on everyone on the battlefield to make everyone be just like traffic, like getting absolutely teleported around, and you're just a disco mage.
You literally
that's
have
terrible.
illusion to put a disco ball and music in there as well.
Just throw repeat on it, make it a sphere so it hits everybody, and then hit the play
Oh
button.
no.
You know, they actually did that in Harry Dresden.
I'm not surprised. And then
Anyways,
they
I got it
put
written
on
down, so
everybody
you can
do
go
the
with it.
flop. Everybody do the flop. All right. Next one.
Next one says transient, which just says space in school, so definitely trying for the whole custom thing. 8 motes allows a spell to pass through X times 2 feet of solid material. Higher tier solid material has increased difficulty to pass through. Alright, so we're definitely not doing it that way, but burn version is X times 4 feet of solid material. And word does not count towards spell limit. Alright, so first off, we're definitely not doing feet when other spells do thing in inches when it comes to this sort of stuff of creation of materials. So bypassing a material should also be in inches. I think.
I have slight concerns how people would use the.
This is also why the next part would be instead of it being higher tier solid material has an increased difficulty, instead it would only work through of X tier or less material.
My head hurts.
Pat.
My
Because the thing is that if it just ambiguously says high tier solid material has increased difficulty, well, first off, then what if I'm casting a spell that doesn't have me roll? Then I just don't care. Increased difficulty at no roll. But second off, like passing through feet of material at a time, that's going to be a bit much.
Yeah.
Because, like, I guess phasing can go through a couple feet of material, but that is a whole ass movement speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah.
Which actually maybe we should put into the notes on that, or add to phasing that, you can only pass through, materials of a tier equal to or lower than your, character tier. That might not be a
Yeah, sure, I'll
bad
type that.
limitation on that. Gives storytellers more to play around with that. More codified things to play around with that.
Yep.
Otherwise, I'm not against a word for this. I agree on the inches. I think it should be higher than X times 2, maybe.
Due to pure shenaniganry, I was gonna peg it around like the 3 or 4, even if it's on its own do nothing.
I was gonna say 3 as well. I didn't want to push it too high, considering it is. While it's useful in some situations, it's one of those very situational things. Unless you're going to be the guy that blind fires a fireball, in which case I hope you get what you get.
you get what you deserve at that point.
I'm gonna wait for the one time that somebody puts up like a magic reflection mirror and it just beams you.
As for school, I can see making something immaterial momentarily being alteration.
I could see alteration working for it. I'm also leaning towards kinetics again because movement with that.
Yeah, I
I
was
was
about to say,
actually
it's
going
more
to suggest
movement.
kinetics. So it sounds
Definitely
like we're working on kinetics.
Kinetics. Okay.
Which would be nice because the kinetics school is currently all shaped, so giving it something that is outside of just shaping your magic would be
Hey,
nice.
it has one thing that isn't that. Lets you pylon an aura.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, either way, I'll go ahead and delete it and stuff. And it looks like that is actually where we'll have to call it on suggestions.
Oh.
Yeah, we dedicate the first hour of each session to those.
Yeah.
Also, Blue Bat, thank you for helping us apparently flush out some of entropy finally.
Yes.
If we
Yeehaw.
keep that up, we're actually going to have entropy as a school.
Yeah, to be fair, entropy,
We
like, we definitely could make some minor things for it, like, pretty easily. The hard part is going to be the more, like, signature stuff related to entropy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll come back to Key's whole thing there.
There's a,
We can work our way up.
where's Keith's
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. The
I put
to-do
in a...
list.
I put in a discussion about aura stuff, and then Key wrote a couple paragraphs.
Oh boy.
It's like, I'm gonna give my 2 cents on this whole
I mean,
massive dissertation later.
That's Key for you. Key does that. I'm fine with it because at least he writes out his thoughts in a way that's understandable and clear.
Yeah, besides, it's only like 4 or 5 paragraphs.
I have seen so many paragraphs over the last 3 days.
Yeah,
I
anyway,
mean,
where are we starting?
Okay, well, we'll come back to scatter rules. I did want to bring up Mark after Tal pointed out that what you were doing with Thales was the burn version of it. I'm more okay with it. I thought it was just the expend, and I'm like, this is a little broken for just expended thing.
no, I burned motes for that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you were burning motes. I thought you were just expending them, and I'm like, we should look at that.
Nope, it's the one reason why I have Mark as a spell is that way I can say no you and get the hell out of there.
Of which, the opponent could still try and do things like, you know, get rid of the spell once it's on them.
Or take cover.
If they break line of sight, Mark Boy can't do anything.
Except GTFO.
But yeah, I think I'm good with it staying as is. The next one, just a quick little thing. I think that if you're crafting ammo, we just do it in quantities of 10. So, you know, you roll to craft some ammo, and it's just, here's 10 of it. Thoughts?
Do we want to base it off of what the intended action cost that the ammo is? Like if you're crafting it for a heavy weapon versus if you're crafting it for a light weapon?
That might be a better idea.
We don't have that for anything, any other crafting stuff yet. Because right now,
true.
crafting is just the tier of the item. So I didn't really want to go... I don't really want to go that route unless we're going to be doing that with, you know, everything.
Well, the only reason that I'm bringing that up is because, especially if you're dual-wielding light weapons, you're going to go through ammo a lot faster than if you're just two-handing a heavy weapon. And you're able to attack once a turn.
You know, that's fair.
That's the only reason I'm bringing it up. It's just because I'm just like, oh my god, you're gonna need so many. You're gonna be sitting there just fucking making bullets if you're trying to do a light weapon fury ammo build. Holy shit.
That is fair. The complication there is things like dynamic. Because you can have that on weapons, and then, you know, if you want to just use the ammo for your heavy weapon as a quick action, that's a bit more costly then compared to stuff used for quick.
If I might, gut instinct, having multiples and quantities of 10 or whatever batch quantity for basic type ammo, you know, the stuff that you would normally load into your standard ammunition types, feels right. But if someone were trying to do a specialized ammo, then you would go to
5.
Individuals.
Well,
Or
that's not the thing here.
Oh,
The
that's
thing
not
here
the
that we're
question.
discussing is because think about like a light weapon Fury build where even like getting close to mid game, you're gonna start attacking 7 or 8 times a turn.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be using 7 or 8 bullets a turn compared to a heavy weapon build, which is using 1 a turn.
Yeah.
So if you're doing
true,
light
true.
weapons, you're going to need to spend like 5 years just creating the amount of bullets you'll need for one extended fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
which is entirely fair. Because, like, you know, SMG versus a Magnum bullet or sniper.
Reloading a pea shooter versus a Desert Eagle.
Your big old shotgun versus your Glock. Or 1911.
For Ososky, that's a separate thing.
Yeah,
That's
that's an
infantry.
entirely separate thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I know that I myself, when I'm using a ranged weapon, I like to have a lot of options on the ammo.
Yeah.
I think I think we can go with a maybe what we
Schema.
do is we do go with the idea of the different ammo types. The quick, standard, and full. And that's what we call them. That way, it basically just say, okay, if you're using your, you know, sniper rifle with dynamic for a quick shot, you're just using the quick ammo. And it's just automatically there for you.
Yeah. Although we might want to call it light, medium, and heavy to make it match with weapons.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Light ammunition, medium ammunition, heavy ammunition works well enough.
Keeps it simple.
So,
and then I'm
did
saying,
you want-
I think
What?
20, 10, and 5 for light.
Yeah, that works. Where it just doubles each time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ah, cool. Thank you for taking care of the notes.
Well, you told me to take care of the notes, so
True. True.
I'm not gonna do it during parts that I'm actually like heading, but you know.
Adjustment on what you're writing as notes here. It's
Yeah.
not a matter of what type of weapon you're using, it's a matter of what type of action you're using to the ammo with.
Should I just put light weapon attack?
I would say we still call them light, medium, and heavy ammo, but just put in using a quick action. We'll take light ammo.
Alright.
And then standard and full.
Well, while we are talking about ammo and ammo-related accessories, there's another ammo-related thing in the to-do list to go over.
Was there?
Yep.
Oh, there's so many things here. Ammo expenditure rules. I'll highlight it in yellow.
Yeah, I see it
Yes.
there.
That is because I realized, hey, wait, we have the different ammo type things, but we never actually codified what happens if, for instance, let's say you make a version of ammo that is just all basic power, and then for the same weapon, you make a different ammo type that is damage over time instead, just as examples. Like, what are the EXP expenditure rules? Is it like base weapon EXP that you spend and then you purchase per ammo, or does it work like other ones where it's like just the most expensive version and you pay a tax? Like, what's the vibe here?
So my plans there were that you divide it in half for
Yep.
XP caps and power caps and everything. And then
Well, maybe not the power cap. That way they can mess around with the ammo types having the power.
fair. I worry about it getting too complicated then, though, if they are, they've put some power cap on their weapon, or, they've put like half power cap on the weapon and then full power cap on the ammo, and it's like, oh, well, now technically they have 1.5 times power cap.
Yeah, so I'd say we just say that a weapon can only use ammo that doesn't make it go over its limits.
Yeah, and I'm like, that is all well and good. I'm like, my worry there is just that it might get a bit much to keep track of. I have this much power cap on this, I have that much power cap on that. Okay, so I could use this ammo with this gun, but not that gun, etc., etc.
In that case, why not make it so that either they pick going halvesies or they have to go all in one way or another?
I mean,
I like
halvesies
that.
would be the what I already assumed it was.
Halvesies
Well,
was,
because it only said EXP.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Where basically you choose for the weapon whether it can have any power cap or not. And then it's like, okay, well, you can only use the ammo that has full power cap on this, etc., etc.
All right, I will write that down.
And I suppose while we're at it, we can have it, the third option of the weapon has all the power and the ammo has no power cap. Has 0 power cap. Because if they want to do that, sure, why not? Hello, Shadow Wolf. Fox Fiend, you're cute.
Pet the fox fiend.
Feel the
Wait,
backhand
so are
of
we-
justice.
Are we saying that that power on weapon and power on ammo together they can't go above the weapon's power cap?
Well, basically, whatever caps are normally involved, EXP and weapon. Combined, they can't go over what, like, the standard for a weapon would be without ammo.
Okay.
But in order to give you some flexibility based on what you want, you can assign if they either go halvesies and they divorce evenly, or if it starts going one or the other.
Or you could just make it so that if it exceeds the power cap, it stops at the power cap. Right? Why not do that?
we want to keep it simpler. Because, you're gonna, if we go completely freeform with this, then people are gonna have to keep track of how much power cap they've spent on each thing and determine, okay, this gun has this much power cap, that weapon, that ammo has that much power cap, I can't combine them, etc., etc. So we're just gonna go more simple with this. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
Because soft
And this
brains
is
like
for the
me get overwhelmed by all that I'll get off by all that brain operation. So keep it simple is friendly to me.
that and this is for the generalized system rather than people letting you do the more advanced version. Like for me, if in the Star Wars game, y'all want to do like an advanced version where you're doing very specific assignments, yeah, sure, I don't care. Like I can keep track of that, but it's going to be up to you to keep track of it if you decide to do that.
E.g., base rules are going to say it's simple. If an ST wants to allow more complicated stuff, they may. At their
Also-
leisure.
Right, Jen? Right. Mwah. Mwah.
Precious.
He is precious. And makes very good food.
Hmm.
Anyways, is this good enough explanation for you?
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we can do the EXP as well, so that way if they don't want to bother with specific ammos, they just go with the EXP, yeah. Or everything on the
They just
weapon.
assign everything. Yep. Or you just put everything on the ammo and the weapon only exists to technically be a delivery service. At which point you've developed Weapon 2.0, but like, people might want to do it.
Now somebody's going to make a gun called FedEx.
No, that's so you put it all on the ammo instead of on the weapon itself, and that's how you get the original German grenade launcher, the precursor to the RPG, because the original German grenade launcher was literally just a disposable tube used to deliver the.
That's how a lot of them are nowadays. Anyway, most
Yeah.
launchers are single shot launchers because it makes it a lot more simple.
Yeah.
All right. That's written down. So, what do you want to go over next?
So I kind of got confused and forgot what we were discussing about the discount caps regarding solo, assistant, and instructor on the notes. I left them out of this update, but that's kind of looking very complicated, and we already have other caps with the half for skills and 25% for other stuff. I think we should just do away with that whole thing.
You mean the caps, or do you mean the training?
It's highlighted on the notes under. This was 319.
Well, I was asking what you were saying we should do away with.
I think
Like the half cap thing or this.
I think we should do away with the solo, assisted, and instructed discount caps. Because I think if somebody is, they already have +2 difficulty if they're doing it by themselves. If they want to put in that time and not actually get a book or instructor, they can get whatever. They can go all the way. It's just going to take longer. Provided they don't, Nova out and just succeed.
Well,
Just
yeah,
win.
but
We all can't
all I'm gonna say is it's just the meme of you get what you fucking deserve. Like, you get what you get. I don't think we need to cap it like based on the type of training you're doing, because the type of training already determines the difficulty.
Yeah, it's just that we had this in the notes, and I was I think we just do away with whatever this is talking about in the notes.
I think originally this got written up, like, I think by Key or someone, and then we were just like, oh, it's already there. Yeah, sure, whatever. Like, we don't got to figure this out. This is fine enough.
I think you're right. Yeah. But yeah, we'll just get rid of this and stick with, what we've got. All right. Actually, I will keep it, but highlight it red.
All right, I'm gonna delete the discussion point then.
Yep. I don't want to delete stuff off of the notes because I kind of have an idea of just throwing these all in a book and be like, here's a bonus for the Kickstarter. You can see all of this nonsense that we've gone through.
Yep, ever since we started noting instead of it just doing it live.
It's sort of a behind the scenes bonus for the Kickstarter.
Exactly.
Include a DVD of us screaming during dev session.
I could absolutely I'm certain I could get GipGap to do that. It wouldn't even take much persuasion.
Just tell him it'll be a little cringe and he'll go right for it.
That and there's just going to be like a compilation in the middle of it of me just going, all right, so the thing is.
An entire track dedicated to the Math Dragon joke.
Yep, that too.
An entire section devoted to how many times we stop dev session to say XYZ person is cute. For instance, Meryl cute.
Meryl cute.
Fox cute too.
Oh. I'm just going to pick up the Meryl. Just buy the petting.
Master, save me.
Pet. Pet. Pet.
Ah.
Pet.
Ah.
But the next thing here, does things like primeval cloaking active abilities count as light activity for resting?
I would say no.
I'm kind of leaning towards ST decision on that.
Leave it to the STs.
But also, I know we've got a lot of stuff on there in that regard.
The reason why I say no, because that feels like it's an active ability. It's something you have to keep active, right?
Technically, no. Like, the cloaking is just there forever unless somebody is trying to detect you.
Or you do something that would disrupt your cloaking.
Yeah. Which moving does not disrupt it,
Which I still wanted it to, but we already had that discussion.
Yeah, but I'm worried about people just being cloaked all the time or XYZ. Active effect, always on. There's no reason to turn it off then, ever.
And that's mostly what I'm also worried about, which is just why would you ever turn it off? Like, aside from your shimmer, like, being chronically low. Potentially. Because moving doesn't disrupt it. So... Like, I guess... Like, there's things to do about it, but it's also just like... If you're detected or you enter combat, then yeah. If you don't have the upgrade associated with that. So then it kind of just turns into, okay, I'm going to keep that always on.
Which technically is already something that you can do. I don't think it would stay active while you're sleeping. But
The other
like if
problem is,
you're
wouldn't this also
watching.
affect auras then?
Oh, somebody keeping their auras active?
Yep.
Yeah, because you do a
Why turn it
single.
off?
Why turn it off? Because you do a single standard quick action. And there's also, I think there's also a difference between, like, because there are some auras where, like, characters never, like, if you leave it up to them narratively, they never turn them off. But also, generally speaking, those are like the most useless ones.
Yes,
Because there's
but
a difference between.
we have a dissertation about making those stronger, so they're not going to remain useless. Possibly.
Yeah. Look, I've been trying to get them buffed for a while. It's just that I normally wait a couple months in between my attempts.
Well, now you know that you can have Key write a dissertation.
To be fair, I kind of like wrote one a little bit first, like, because I was chatting with Key about it, and then I went, I'm gonna put it back on the discussion to make another go at it, and then, like, I'm chatting with him about it, and then he goes in and writes the dissertation. So, like, I guess technically speaking, it's a little bit of a combined thing.
Now it's a united front.
Now it's a united front. So true.
Minor cat update. I put a piece of tape on my thumbnail, and my cat has jumped up to try and remove it from me because he sees tape as an enemy.
Meow.
I'm
And
I
we're
am-
also... Go ahead.
I am leaning towards, because like I was already on the fence, 50-50 with the cloaking, but bringing up auras, like I am okay with those just always active. Those are passives, and really, like, you only need to bring it back up if you've gone unconscious or you want to switch to a different aura.
Doesn't this slowly lead into the can of worms that is pre-buffing to a certain degree?
Yeah, but it's kind of different because an aura doesn't scale. It just is what it is.
It just exists.
And having a
Yep.
tiny bit of pre-buffing would help those that, because we have had a few complaints about the lack of pre-buffing availability.
Yeah, the only time I think you should be able to pre-buff is from stealth, but that's just because, at that point you're already planning on playing unfair.
Yeah.
And you have to have stealthy on all your buff moves in order to do that. So, like, you're literally paying for the strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yippers.
But I do have an idea.
Okay.
If it is a quick action or below, it counts as light activity to maintain
I like that.
for downtime activities.
Okay.
If you don't have to spend enough effort to make it a standard action, then I think that should count as light activity. So long as you aren't making it worse by doing more stuff on top of it. Like, you can't do multiple of those. But, like, a singular quick action, like, whatever at that point.
I'd be fine
So-
with that.
Right.
So cloaking by default would count as more than light activity unless you have quick cloak.
Hmm.
And auras would be fine. Holding certain spells would be fine.
Yeah, but you can't do more than one. You have to pick your poison there because it would only count for your one quick action. And I'm not going to let people go, well, I have 3 actions, so I could choose 3. No, at that point, you're putting effort in.
E.g., you can choose one thing to just kind of sit and do nonchalantly.
One thing at quick action or below counts as light activity. I think that is
Also-
a fair way to do it.
I like that. And also, I'm thinking that they can also do training, like 1 hour of training in there as part of a
Yeah,
full
but that'll
rest.
take up. But that'll take up their light action slot too,
Yes.
or quick action slot.
As well as crafting. Those technically are not light activities, but I think letting them do those would be okay.
They're not light activities, but they are downtime activities.
Exactly.
And they're not activities that necessarily stop you from like keeping watch or anything.
Yeah.
And being aware of your surroundings.
And hello there, Ido. Pet the fluffy.
Petty Idaho.
Hello, Fluffy.
Yeah.
Welcome home.
All right, I wrote down may perform a single quick action passively without it being counted as more than light activity for purposes of downtime and resting. May spend up to an hour training during downtime without it counting as more than light activity.
Training or crafting.
Or crafting, yeah.
There.
But yeah, this
allows-
lets you do a couple of funky things with quick action abilities.
Yeah.
Without it being like, a dumb and broken. This also lets you dedicate your quick action to like a combat pre-buff technically.
True.
If you're just maintaining a low level buff. If you want to have good initiative just in case if you're a little bit wary, just put together a quick action initiative raiser and just have that be your quick action dedication.
And I can see Viv doing that already.
Well, yeah, but at that point, you've made a quick action to do it, like, and you're already gonna have to spend as much as a fucking feat in order to do that, because that's gonna be 24 XP.
I just know Viv likes to be first.
That is true. I have noticed that. But that's also because being first is good, so
I actually prefer going second in MTG. I prefer having
Well,
the draw.
I more meant in tabletops.
Yes, in tabletop specifically.
In tabletops, it's like there's like almost no downsides, almost ever.
Alright, so I put it in there. This can be a constant effect that you continue to hold in the ready, such as a quick action move.
Yep, that works. Also, let people do some funky things, and it'll assuage some complaints about lack of pre-buffing. Now you can. There you go. Have fun.
You can go into
you
battle
have
with...
a quick action.
Yeah, you can go into battle with one quick action level buff. Actually, we should specify that that is... we'll put it under combat.
That's all right.
Is there a reason why pre-buffing is limited?
Because then otherwise, what everyone will do, if they're trying to be, if they're trying to be safe, I'm not even gonna say meta. Just say, go ahead.
I can explain this a little faster. Because there are no costs to using those. Other
Yes,
systems, you
Yeah.
know, have spell slots. We don't, and
I
so
see.
we have to put some form of limiting factor on it. Otherwise, like Tao was about to say, everybody is just going to have 6 of everything all the time.
I
Yeah,
see.
and at that point, why bother having the stat changes? They don't do anything besides knowledge check if you know well enough to constantly be going around acting like it's a turn-based RPG where you know, like assign a few actions to long-term buffs every once in a while, and you sit there for a minute or two running through all your buffs before continuing to adventure.
True enough. Just wondering.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Classic
why
that's
this
good.
boss story.
whole this whole issue seemed like a non-issue, but now I see why it's an issue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
imagine walking into a fight with all your stats at +6 except for crit, which is at +3 because that's its max.
yeah. It's one of those things of we wanted to give people a lot of flexibility with the system. So we did not want to include too many limits. Like, we have started to include a couple of things, like with the moats and the shimmers with the cloaking and whatnot. But in general, we wanted to let people do whatever they want without limit. But that comes at the cost of some of those standardized mechanics in other systems, like, you know, spending an hour at the start of each day casting a bunch of buff spells that'll last the whole day. Can't allow that. Ah, Gip Gap has become dog, I see.
Oh, pet the
That's the
Gabby.
puppy.
Pat pat the puppy.
Yeah, or for an example that would be more real world in terms of one of our games, Midnight. You know how Kin in Last Hope has their Stalwart Flame move that is a big buffing move, and and if he's gonna use it for its full potential, he has to spend 2 full turns dedicated to that buff. If, say, we were allowed to just go into combat with our buffs up, suddenly Kin's getting the full effect of his big buffing move without using the 2 turns. It's a lot.
Yeah, it really is. Also, Raijin, I like that. Yeah, that sounds like, long, extended dog bed. So, congrats, Skip Cap. You are Wiener Dog. Alright, so I put in here, you may utilize a quick action ability immediately upon entering combat unless you were caught by surprise. I'm okay with allowing it to be an attack.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Because then you're using the quick action basically as a reaction to combat starting.
Yeah. This will happen prior to entering initiative, but they will go off in initiative order. That should cover the bases there.
Only edge cases, what if you use an initiative standing buff?
Ah, good point. Well, I mean, it'll still go in initiative order, but then, you know, when you actually get into initiative, then...
Basically, round 0 in
Yeah.
initiative order.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Gives them technically pre-buffing, but limited on what they can pull off. Or, you know, in the case
It also
of...
gives a reason to have a quick action.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of characters who eschew having an actual decent quick action and just go, eh. So this gives them a reason to actually want one.
Or in the case of people like Viv, where they've got Narashi with that massive parry build, it'll let them have their parry at the ready from the get-go.
Well, technically not. You don't have reactions until your first turn. Unless we want to make it so that way codified you have reactions unless you're caught by surprise.
Yes, we'll do that. Yeah, I'm okay with them having reactions. Honestly, I didn't realize that they didn't already have reactions at the start, but yeah.
But technically only get them when your turn starts, so if your turn hasn't started yet, you don't have them.
Well, the rules as intended was that you just always have your reaction. Unless, you're caught by surprise. Just might not be rules as written, but we'll fix that now.
I was about to say, me nuking initiative order so that way I can have all my reactions and potentially use them before it's my first turn. Anyway.
Oh no.
That's just me immediately thinking, what can I do with this mechanic? It really doesn't even matter that much.
Hesitating to move on and wondering if we need to take any other edge cases into account.
Not particularly.
Are you surprised?
Isn't that why you have Master on the dev team, is so he can point out all the edge cases?
Yes,
because he
but
thinks
still.
of them?
That and do the math to fix the edge cases.
I'm going to put on the table that if Tal doesn't find it, Vari will.
Yeah. Or he'll at least put a bigger spotlight on it, because usually I'll find stuff and I'll be like, this isn't a problem, and then Vari does it, and people are like, you could do that? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, like,
What's
just
that big of a problem?
punch them is... I'm still not certain about that, but...
By the way, I did end up putting something from due to Vari's actions on there.
Yeah, Vari messaged me about it, and... Yeah. We'll come back to that.
Which I could see it going either way, which is why I'm like, this is legitimately an edge case, so alright.
Either way, next up should be a relatively quick discussion. Considering the drop of the second standard action from combo, for the cost of using it, perhaps we should reduce the penalty for a full action to only +1 difficulty. Because it's basically, the way I've written it, at least for now, is that it is basically whatever the cost of the move is or ability is, that's all you're spending on the combo. There's no additional cost. But I also don't want full action stuff to just... Combining two full actions would be devastating to anyone.
Yep.
So they definitely need to be limited at least a little bit. But it was just a random thought. Do we want to reduce it to +1 difficulty on accuracy and power, or leave it at the +2?
So, in terms of standard action power, I'm just going to put it that way. It being at +1 difficulty generally will make it so that way the output of the combo, in exchange for like their entire turn because they're doing a full action, unlike the other people who will keep their stuff, is 3 times the power of a standard action. If you're doing standard action combo stuff, then it'd obviously be 2 times the power of a standard action, but you'd get to keep some other actions on each turn. So it being at +1 difficulty means it'll be about 50% better than a standard action combo at the cost of eating up both turns.
So that's if there are 2 full actions with it?
That's if you're doing 2 full... to bring up your example of 2 people doing a full action combo together. It is equal to 3 times a standard action in terms of power level. Meanwhile, 2 people doing a standard action combo is 2 times a standard action. If we do the +1 difficulty for the full action.
So then it would still make it better. It's just at the cost of...
Still make it better, but you're spending more actions for it.
I think I like that.
Mathematically, it's about 50% better compared to a standard action combo, but, you know, obviously, that's all you're doing, buddy.
That's it. I'm done, coach.
50% seems like a fine trade-off then. I was worried that it was too little of a trade-off, but then tell math that that makes better. And I don't have to math it live.
Yeah, it's 50% better.
Yeah,
I don't
whereas
have to
if we
vibe sync
stuck
that.
with the +2 difficulty, I'm guessing it would be the same. In which
It'd
case
be
that...
actually just equal.
Yeah. Which would be feels bad, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just +1 difficulty is good. Go ahead and add that to the notes there. This one is just a note for myself that I've left in here. We'll probably look at it every week. That is my intention on that. Because right now I still don't know if we're going to have a resource with Might, because we've kind of gone back and forth on that.
I thought we were having Vim.
I do currently have Vim on the sheet.
Okay.
Which I have made some progress on it. I'm just waiting for a minor review with Tal to see if we want... that was the discussion I needed to have. Did I add it to the to-do?
I don't think so.
I thought I did. But that might be a deeper discussion, and I think if them is not there, we should hold off.
That's fine. I'm working on a lot less stuff now, obviously, so I can also not I could give a deeper review rather than looking it over real quick, not finding obvious issues, and then going, looks good to me for now. Like I did
Yeah,
before.
I want to... Because I'm worried I didn't put enough in, but I think I have a firm basis for at least the martial arts stuff. It's just we need to figure out how to handle weapons.
Well, as far as that goes, like, just having the foundation out there is a huge help, because then we can... You know, the community has been very good at throwing stuff at us. I look at the 5 million word suggestions from Blue Bat.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that when we hit weapons specifically, because I've gone back and forth on a lot of things due to the fact that weapons are standalone, one of my worries is that the moment that we throw into might, it becomes too powerful. So the question is how do we mechanically handle that? Do we ignore certain parts of it, or... But we can discuss it at a later date.
We'll put that on the next discussion, or the next dev session. We'll go over that with the next one.
Yeah, I have a couple ideas for that, but, you know, it depends how we want to handle it.
Yeah, I'm already writing a note.
Yeah, put that in the discussion. We'll go over it next time, and that way we can probably have to dedicate most of the session to that.
Yeah.
It's on there now.
But yeah, until we're certain that we have Vim, I'm going to hold off on... So I'm just going to leave that there. But anyways. We've got potentially rename Soul Save to Status Save or Status Integrity in order to fit with the theme of it being called after the category of attack instead of the attribute. No longer overlaps with a different acronym. What acronym does it overlap with?
We didn't have status integrity originally. Like we originally a long time ago when we discussed it, we didn't do status integrity because we had special integrity, and we thought that was too close, so we made it called Soul Save. We don't have status like SI as a thing anymore, but if we want to keep the acronym people are used to, technically speaking, anything that afflicts, like, you know, statuses are called status attacks in the book. Like, we've had that forever. And we don't call it body integrity and mind integrity. We call it physical and ethereal. So we have 2 of them that are going after the attack category type, and then 2 of them that are going by, or 1 of them that's going by the attribute it's based off of.
Okay.
So make it status save instead, or status.
Status save, stats, whatever you want to call it with
Mhm.
that. But like, probably renaming soul to status. I know people are used to calling it soul save. I'm definitely one of them, obviously. But I'm also like, thinking about it, it's kind of weird that we have two of them based off the category of attack, and then the last one is just based off of the attribute name.
You have a very good point.
Mm.
I'm with you on changing soul to status. I'm just deciding if I want to go with status save or status integrity.
The problem with having the word save is, unfortunately, that indicates, due to nomenclature, that you're going to be rolling it.
You know, that's true. So
That's true.
status integrity it is.
Yeah, I'd be fine with soul integrity or status integrity if we wanted to keep the soul part.
Yeah, that's the one that I most want to change, just because it's like, shit, it's called status moves of the thing. We're 2 and 1. We're split. We should standardize that.
Maybe we should come up with a different term than status, though.
Affliction?
Just because, well, no, definitely not affliction, because then it'll be shortened to AI, and I don't want to deal with that. Not a bad suggestion. It's just I don't want to deal with, I like the suggestion.
People quickly making AI lowering moves just called clanker. As it lowers the opponent's AI.
No, I want to make an AI slot move. Increase my AI.
But the reason why is physical integrity, ethereal integrity, status integrity. Status integrity just does not roll off the tongue easily. Not to me. Maybe you guys think differently?
Blue Bat's already got a new spell idea run.
Oh no. I know he was writing down new spell ideas. I know he was writing down spell ideas as we were discussing those suggestions.
I saw the new messages popping up.
Yeah, I saw him writing new messages as we were discussing those.
Oh.
But either way, maybe it's just me, but status integrity just does not roll off the tongue well compared to the other two.
No.
I think too many hard T's in there. We could call it condition integrity.
Or effect integrity. No, that's too...
No, because effects are called, it's basically anything.
And also then it would be, ethereal integrity would be the same. I think
Condition integrity makes sense, since most things that affect that apply conditions. It's still probably is going to make Master's brain twitch because it still doesn't match.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that we would change the term of the status ones to condition.
But also call it spirit integrity.
Spirit integrity might work, actually.
Ooh.
Harken back to what Soul was originally called.
Yeah.
It didn't last long.
I just thought it didn't last long, but it was originally called that. But yeah, if we call it spirit integrity, like, it sort of fits with the fact that it's a lot of the conditions, afflictions, all of that sort of stuff.
I actually really like spirit integrity.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah. I vibe with that one.
Ido, the problem is that I'm certain that an AI could probably have a better chance of making a valid character than Ren would.
If we actually fed it the rules, it would have a much better chance, considering that we explain it in plain English in the book.
Yeah.
It would have a legitimate chance at it.
Part of me wants to open ChatGPT, just copy the character creation section and put it in and tell them to make a character. Just to see what it
Don't
does.
trust ChatGPT.
What was that?
I said don't trust ChatGPT.
Oh yeah,
If you're
they'll
going
just
to use
feed
AI,
it in.
Yeah, just if you're going to use any AI, use Claude. Out of all the AI companies, they are the least shitty so far that I have found. And that is a broad statement. Just because it's the least does not make Anthropic not shitty.
Doesn't
They're
make it
all
good.
shitty. It's just the shiniest of the turds.
Yes, if we're gonna play the shiniest turd game, and you're really gonna pick up the turd anyways, at least use one company that has some pretend level of moral values publicly.
Wait, PewDiePie put out a frickin' AI?
Huh?
PewDiePie still exists?
Huh?
Yes, PewDiePie does
Huh?
still exist.
But either way,
Somehow.
that aside, yeah, I like spirit integrity. We'll call those all spirit moves. Rip the new version of the sheet, because now you gotta adjust all that, but you know.
Luckily, none of that goes off the actual fucking name of it.
Spirit afflictions.
So that's an easy fix.
Yep, I
Yeah.
just change every instance of soul save to spirit integrity. And then anything that says soul with that sort of stuff changes to spirit moves. Soul save. All sheets replace with spirit integrity. Replace all. Boom.
Where's the that was easy button? Push.
There, I also added to the notes status abilities renamed to spirit abilities. Alright, so there's that. We've got a note here that grievous damage applies to max HP independently of injuries.
Because I asked you about that, and you said, I want to do it that way, so I went, okay.
Yeah. But it is still, you know, up for discussion there if you've got any disagreement on that era. Or
Oh,
Regin.
that would make it easier, honestly. It does mean... No, that's fine.
It is a little bit mean when it comes to taking grievous damage and then taking an injury. But, you know, at that point, you know, you've taken grievous damage and you have an injury. Shut up.
This does mean that we can actually cause grievous damage and an injury and cause a coma. In the rules. Comas can now happen.
Yeah.
Somebody could be stuck at 0 HP or below and technically not dying.
And,
Yep.
well, I mean, technically, we already have comas with exhaustion.
But we have damage comas instead of exhaustion coma.
Yes,
So
injury comas instead of just somebody so tired that they fall asleep for a week.
This does remind me of something else that I've been thinking on. Should we just... I know this is a very dangerous thing to allow players to utilize, but should we go ahead and remove the restriction that you cannot put yourself over 20 exhaustion? Just let them have the option of, well, I'm out for 10 days.
I mean, like... Because it's always been a bit weird when it comes to the willingly part.
Yeah, because we don't have anything to force exhaustion on them, so it's kind of like, well, what's the point of that?
Well, technically, we do. There's one spell, which is Adrenaline, which you gain additional standard actions, but you also gain like a fraction of that as exhaustion. So if you cast that on someone and then you immediately cancel your concentration on the spell, they gain +1 exhaustion.
It's just a haste spell.
Yeah, that is our version of haste. But yeah, no,
Okay,
so like,
let's-
technically speaking, if you want to be a very strange mage, instead of killing them directly, you could just slowly whittle down their exhaustion bar, ? It still doesn't take them down until like they're out of the scene, but like then you could just run away, I guess, and then they pass out for the next week. Strange. It's a strange. It's a strange tactic, but it technically works.
But yeah, that's the only way to actually force somebody to take exhaustion, so I think we should just go ahead and remove that thing. So, Riv, congrats. Enjoy being unconscious for half the campaign.
That would probably be an improvement.
I take it Riv runs a massive exhaustion build.
Yes.
yeah, no, his
lightly.
signature ability gives him 3 exhaustion to use.
Dang.
However, it's also patentedly ridiculous to go against, to the point where it can kneecap bosses by itself. I don't think you understand. Riv is our resident. I exhaust myself, but I force the boss to second wind every other turn.
We had to tell Lipa how to shut it down.
Yeah. Let me put it to you this way. Application roll 19. Save SR 10. Character level? Yeah, no, he's a tier 2 character.
Jeez.
That is the kind of move where it would be a reasonably effective move in Last Hope. He's a tier 2 character.
Yeah. Jeez.
So yeah, no, he also gains 3 exhaustion just from using the damn thing. He goes nappy really quickly in fights.
You're now useless. Fuck.
Yes, but he makes the boss second wind. It's funny.
Leave it to you to make a funny build that is very effective.
There are a lot of very funny, effective builds, actually.
It's almost like I have infinite fun with this system due to the pure amount of very funny but effective builds. I'm just going to point out to you that, like, this way. Riv's build is knowledge build. He doesn't have a single knowledge skill below a 3. He is a giga nerd. But yeah, no, he'll exhaust himself really quickly now. All right. A really easy one to knock out of the discussion. Go ahead.
Before we move on, it occurs to me that we don't actually have anything in the document about grievous damage. Which we
because I was fixing to ask,
what
is grievous damage?
Rectify that. I think the only time that it's come up is Osmond thus far. I think that's the only time that kind of damage has been given out. But we should go over it.
That's right.
So I suppose first off, I'm assuming that it is only in the storyteller's toolbox.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that currently right now players can use.
Intentionally.
Making it, however, like, it being in the storyteller's rule box is pretty decent. Especially considering that, like, if a player does something, like, especially narratively cool, you can also tell them that it deals grievous damage. Because, like, if you're Odysseus taking out the Cyclops' eye, going, that dealt grievous damage would feel pretty cool.
That would feel cool.
Alright, so yeah. It reduces max HP. What do we, like... Do we just want to say this is up to you to be able to utilize wherever you wish? just use it with care? Or do we want to actually codify uses for it?
I don't know about actually codifying uses rather than just bringing up the vibe of this is not like this is limb loss level damage
Yeah, if
in
we were
terms of
gonna
like
codify,
how important it is.
if we were gonna codify any part of it, the only part of it I would want to codify is the healing. Everything else I'd leave open.
As
Yeah,
far as that
of which the
goes,
healing 1 per day.
yeah, that's already been established as 1 per day.
Then I would leave it alone past that. That's all we need.
Yep. We could put like flavor text shit with it, but like in terms of actual rules for it, that's about all. But you know, I don't think someone's gonna complain too much if they're getting fucked up enough that like they just lost a limb and then the storyteller goes, by the way, that hit was grievous damage.
At that point, it's like, well, no shit.
I can't hear.
You don't say.
Unless you're like the Black Knight. Ah, 'tis but a scratch.
I'll bite your ankles.
I'll have you. I'll have your leg. Oh, why don't we just call it the draw?
You know, a side note, I saw a video last night that Neopets was putting out a TTRPG and there was drama with it. And
You're joking.
no, I'm not joking. I watched it because I was curious what kind of mechanics they were going to put in. And it turns out that all that they did was basically make a hack of 5e.
Oh.
It wasn't Neopets that did it. It was the company Neopets hired to
Well,
do it.
yes. Air is correct.
Oh.
Neopets hired a company to do it, but either way, you know, Neopets was going to put out a TTRPG system. And it was just hot garbage, and apparently several of the people that were working on it didn't get paid. So they literally put into the public document that the CEO of the other company decided to push out as, this is our beta! And did not actually look at it because the devs put in, we have not been paid for this project. And it's just like,
Oh my gosh.
it's such a shit show of epic proportions to the point where they've just completely canceled the whole project, and unfortunately a lot of people are out money on the Kickstarter, but yeah. At least for us, when we put out our Kickstarter, it's gonna be like, by the way, even if you don't support, it already exists. This just lets us get art and stuff, and so you can go play it right now.
There's a publicly available copy of it. We are just wanting the funds to make it look good and presentable, and so people can have a physical book on their shelf.
Yee.
Because yeah, just being able to have a physical book, that alone has an upfront cost of, I believe, like $2,000 per version. So if we want to put out a, you know, hardcover and a softcover book, that's $4,000.
But Jesus.
Oh jeez. Yeah.
Because you got to get an ISBN thing with it, and all of this other
the
stuff.
ISBN
Like,
number.
Right. I mean, I love being able to have a hard copy version of a TTRPG just on my shelf that I can pull out and be like, yeah, I've got the rules in hand. I
Yeah, me
paid for all
too.
the pretty pictures and all that. But yeah,
Yeah,
upfront
that's
cost of 2,000. That's a lot. Jeez.
Yeah, that's before printing. Also, just to put it out there, I want a leather-bound version, please.
that'll be another 2,000 on top, but I would love to have one as well.
Dang.
Leather-bound version. That's oh my gosh.
The special dev edition, I regret years and years ago I saw the 3.5e core rule books in leather, and the only reason why I didn't buy them is because I didn't want to borrow money off of a friend. I should have bought them.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
They're valuable, and
They are.
I just want them on my shelf. I haven't played.
I just want to put
3.5
that chip right on my shelf right away.
Yeah, it just
Right.
my shelf is sitting there, and it has no leather-bound books on it. That's from a tabletop game, and therefore it is incomplete until it happens.
I actually have leather-bound copies of the Exalted 3rd edition books. Except for the base one. Because that was Kerr's, and, well, now I'm not with Kerr anymore, but... And he kept his book, obviously. So at some point I'm going to have to go to eBay just to complete the collection. Which I'm not fond of, because that's going to be several $100s. Boy.
Just the player's handbook and leather bound is currently the one I found just now is selling for $250. Oh, I found one for 165. That's just the player's handbook. That isn't the full set, and I had the chance to have the full core rulebook set. But I digress. Random note. Leather bound, please.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But yeah, part of me is tempted to reach out to Neopets and be like, hey, so we know that you were interested in this. Can we interest you in Scar?
I don't think it'll go well, but it'd be pretty funny.
It would be pretty funny, and I could totally see a Neopets expansion or whatever.
A Neopets module.
Yeah.
And just think, Neopets, you could tap into the market of people horny for your characters.
That's so true.
Are we going to revisit the whole... I'm not going to bring it back up.
All right, so I'm gonna get us back on track slightly though, because we are running out of time. Gotta go over shit.
Okay.
Fine, say your thing.
Well, so first off, apparently they made one of I don't know anything about Neopets. I just know that one of the characters in there, they apparently decided to just make homophobic in their beta test. Because, you know, they did the whole...
there was a bunch of homophobic and transphobic stuff inside the book.
Dear.
While also having you can be whatever sexuality or gender you want, and, yeah... The big issue...
mixed message there.
The big issue that we would run into is that apparently Neopets just cannot die. So we'd have to remove death mechanics altogether. But otherwise, I mean, Scar would work.
Yeah, that's because it works with almost fucking anything.
True. True.
Didn't I make jokes about Neopets campaigns before?
You did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also Kingdom Hearts campaigns.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, we got what? Outside of the Pokemon and Digimon now, in canon, we now have Fallout, and we have a post-apocalyptic modern world reinvent campaign live. And
Also
on my
got a Star
off-camera
Wars.
game, I am doing a comic book style superhero game.
Oh,
So
When's
vigilante game now.
I did not know.
When,
I did not know that you were running another campaign in Scar off camera.
My other game just ended, so I was like, you guys want to do Scar and something way off the cuff? And they chose to do a particular setting where it's more of a fourth wall breaking setting, where some people can just break the fourth wall and see things others can't.
Fair.
So kind of somewhere in the Shadowrun area of stuff, except not.
All right.
Whenever you want to go run one, Mala.
So
yeah,
Alright,
go ahead.
So yeah,
really, really easy one. Parry feat for allowing you to parry on behalf of adjacent allies. I thought up the name Warding Parry for the feat name.
I like it.
I'm fine with it.
Regardless of reach, it's just adjacent allies.
Intercept.
Yep.
I just wrote down Warding Parry allows you to parry for adjacent allies with parry reactions.
Yeah, that works.
Cool. That one
I'm
is
cool with
pretty
an-
quick.
I'm cool with an intercept
Another
mechanic.
one that probably will be quick. I think we should add a proper requirement to good meal, because right now it's kind of ambiguous. I'm thinking that for it to count as a good meal, it needs to reach 2 times attribute scale per person in successes. But I'm open to adjusting that. But I think that's a... I mean, tier 2 characters, they would need to have, you know, party of 6, they need to have 12 successes with that.
That sounds reasonable.
I'm worried that it would outscale too hard.
Wait, hold on. Where are you getting 12 for
Actually,
that?
no, that would be 24.
I was about to say, where are you getting that? That's 24.
Yeah.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, that is.
Okay, that's too
jeez.
much. That's definitely too much.
Look, if it's just character attribute scale per person, that's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, attribute scale per person. So, you know, you got...
that's fine.
Yeah. And I'm thinking it will be an all or nothing. Yeah, exactly, Vari. We have nothing as far as actual requirements on it. And thus far, it's just kind of been a, yeah, here you go.
It's sort of just off to vibes whether or not you get it.
Yeah, really. And I think we should add a little, you know, proper codification there.
What was the codifying concept right now then?
Attribute scale per person and successes. So, you know,
Cool.
6 tier 2 characters, you need a total of 12.
I'm still worried that might outscale really quickly and become impossible.
Here's the thing. It with a bigger party, it encourages people working together for the meal a lot
Exactly.
more too.
Which you should be,
Yeah.
because, you know, trying to prepare a meal by yourself for, you know, 8 people is a lot of fucking work.
It
Mhm,
is.
mhm.
So,
The other thing to keep in mind though is that like it starts the scale like for like really late game things, it starts becoming near impossible in order to get good meals.
Yeah,
But
even with like entire group helping, it could hit a point
Well-
where it becomes.
yeah, unless basically everyone starts grabbing and my axe just to try and get good meals and stuff. Then again, late game you should probably get and my axe anyway. Thinking about it, usually.
Mm.
But it kind of starts turning into, hey guys, if we want a good meal, we need 30 successes on this check. If you have like 6 tier 5 characters.
Mm-hmm.
okay,
what
so
per-
maybe not that. Perhaps it's not per person, and it's just a flat attribute scale times whatever for the party.
I think it should be based off of the attribute scale, like the average attribute scale of the party or whatever. And then you put a multiplier on that.
That's what I was just suggesting, yeah.
Yeah, so Because, yeah, even if that ends up being like a ×3 or a ×4 or something with that in mind to account for it being a lot of people, then, like, you know.
We could do it base. Well, wait. Would times 3 would be is something we've used before, so that might be fine. And then just say up to X amount of people, increase the multiplier by 1 for every additional 50% or something like that.
Well, I don't think it matters as much for the like amount because you're kind of paying for that anyways in terms of like ration cost, presumably.
Presumably.
I'm okay with.
I'm just thinking of that part of it.
I'm okay with
Go ahead.
not doing it as per person and just doing it a flat thing, but
Did we want to just stick with the ×3 then?
I feel like ×3 is too low. Because this is a pretty significant effect with it removing an exhaustion.
If it's ×3, just to run through this, if it's ×3 for like a tier 3 character, for example, they need 9 successes in order to get that. Assuming that they're not spending resources on that, in order to have a 50% chance for a good meal, they'd have to be rolling around 20 dice. Well, there's also like 3 meals a day, so like, you know, at that point, your good meal per day ratio will kick out to be pretty decent, even if it's only a 50% chance, because you only need to hit one of them per day.
Only can hit one of them per day.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You only need to in order to get your good meal. So if you got 3 of the fuckers to try, and you, so
yeah, 3 works.
Maybe a 4, 3 or 4, yeah, but 3 should work.
We'll do 3 and see how it feels.
Sounds fair. Dang, though. That means now I gotta go back to the drawing board on Krill's niche in the crew.
Why? You guys still definitely need people to actually fucking cook for you.
I guess that's true.
Y'all are tier 2 characters right now. That means you need like 6 successes on a cooking roll to get a good meal. I think you're underestimating how many dice you need to roll in order to average a 6 success check.
I'm just thinking ahead.
But yeah, it is.
This is why we're writing it out, Various. That way it's a little bit more clear, and then you got something to lean on.
Exactly.
Yeah, because this also means that you're able to plan around it.
Yeah, thus far I don't think most of the meals would have struggled with this anyways.
Yeah.
I don't think you've rolled below the threshold for that we're putting in anyways.
Yeah, well, now we're tier 3 characters, so we need a bit more successes.
Yeah.
Like, under these rules, it just would have jumped from 3 to 9. Or 6 to 9, sorry. It jumped 3 more from 6 to 9. And, but also, like, you know, if you have, like, let's just say presumably, like, let's say you have, like, a 5 in an attribute, because, like, right around now, that'd be, like, a pretty decent average. You'll probably have more than that in your main line, but, like, let's say 5 around an attribute, a 3 or a 4 in an expertise, so let's say, like, a 4. And a 3 in the skill with a specialty or 2. So, you know, let's put that at, like, a 4 as well. That's, like, 13 dice right there. You could get help from, like, 2 people. So that'd be another, like, 6 dice. So, yeah, that'd be, like, the 19 dice, which is right around the 20 you need just to average a 50% chance. And that's assuming that you don't got more.
Yeah, like get a specialty in cooking. That might give you a
Like-
bonus. That'll give you a
Like,
bonus.
legitimately, I don't even know if you need to put any more XP in this, so long as some people help you, in order to average greater than 50% success rate on good meals for every single meal, much less meal per day.
Right.
Like, you're already kind of there.
True enough. And then if we include like a particularly good ingredients or particularly good equipment that and manage to argue an extra bonus somewhere along the way, it gets even easier.
Yeah, because, you know, you guys have a really good kitchen. I'd happily give you, you know, bonuses on that. Granted, your ingredients are not super great right now. At least not what you've got on the airship, because you got... It's passable grade. But it's
Alright,
also
so-
all that, you know, branded stuff that's more about the brand than it is about quality.
Alright, so I just went and double checked just to be like, because I knew I had a sheet rolling around somewhere. Yeah, Var, you're rolling 18 dice by yourself before getting help. I think you're going to be churning out good meals. I think you're fine.
But either way, we digress.
Yeah. So yeah, three times multiplier on the attribute scale.
That is that.
Yep.
Another easy one, which is, does application go down with multi-attack as well? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if it's codified properly, but yes, absolutely. Otherwise, you could just infinitely hit them with spirit attacks.
Which sounds
just-
busted.
Just fucking infinitely. I cast Blight, and then I cast Blight, and then I cast Blight.
And then I cast Blight on your Blight with the Blight on the side. Are you at 100 now? I cast Blight.
If
again.
not, here's some more blight.
Here's a thought. Is it ever codified in the book different tiers or qualities, equality of workstation or
No, that's
Or-
not codified.
No.
And I don't think we're going to codify that. Maybe with the items whenever those are done. But
Just make it storyteller
Yeah.
flair.
yeah.
I mean, look, if you have like skill-related items, they normally will. Storytellers will normally just adjust the SR or give you extra dice or affect your difficulty.
I mean, I technically threw a tiered item at you guys, but
Yep.
that was a choice that I made.
Something a little bit a more go into-y is combo and just punch them. Do we want to let people sign up for a combo so long as they could do the attack, or do they need to have a standard action available specifically for combo?
I would hardlock it personally to the action.
First
Um,
off,
By the way,
oh, no, go ahead.
do you guys want the context for what brought this up?
Yes.
Already.
please.
Doing a Fury attack into a just punch them attack in order to combo after doing the Fury.
Oh
Yep.
my!
Which
def-
I could see it with the current wording. I could see it going either way on which it would actually be.
Right.
Because there is
if
a
they
reasonable
Fury
argument.
First, they could reduce the hit or increase the
Their
hit
hit
stun
stun.
before hitting with the combo attack. I see.
I'm
Yeah, I saw it. Very inventive.
when it
Ooh.
comes to just punch them, in practice, I've been uncertain on it. Like, it seemed good in theory, but in practice, it has felt a bit much to me. At least when combined with Fury or multi-attacks in general. First off, I would say no, it does not work with combo. But I also kind of want to remove it working with multi-attack. But this is on the table for discussion here.
Well, before removing it entirely, I'd probably recommend looking into difficulty changes under certain circumstances first. But it not working with combo, I can really see it going both ways, because on one hand, from like a user perspective, I can do a standard action attack right now, why can't I use that for a combo? Is a very reasonable argument from a user perspective. However, from, like a balance perspective, like combo is kind of strong, so
Yeah.
Yep.
it's kind of like a mix of like, I want to reward people for using combo, but on the other hand, getting to do everything and then combo at the end of it is also understandably a bit strong.
Which you
Especially
can
when they
already combo with just a quick action anyways.
Well, yeah, but that's a lot less effective than throwing another standard action into the thing.
Okay, so I like that idea better about the conditional difficulty change. I'm still leaning towards no being able to use it with combo. Just a hard no on that. I think if you're using it after a multi-attack maneuver, I would say it's +1 difficulty on both.
Yeah, that makes it 75% effective, just so you know, by the way. That's what +1 difficulty on both does.
So
It basically
still...
puts it right in between being a standard action and a quick action in terms of effectiveness.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I'm just
Basically, every difficulty change is plus or minus 25% effectiveness from the original.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just don't want to drop it in a combo because I feel that just makes a balance mess.
Yeah, like, I can understand the argument from a user perspective of, I can do an attack, why can't I combo with it? But it's just, like, this is just one of the things where I just have to look at it and go, I can't balance that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's an inventive idea, but
just a little bit too
fancy. I don't like being the balance guy, but you gotta put a line in the sand sometimes, man.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to make one thing just so spectacular that it overshadows everything else, and you also don't want to make every encounter a cakewalk.
You don't want to put it into a place where if you don't have something in the game, you suddenly can't play.
Yeah.
You just can't keep up. That's just bad design.
Bye,
Raijin.
I know this is not going to be a popular decision, but it's for the health of the system overall.
Yeah. This is one of the things where it'd definitely be fun, but the amount we'd have to cut it'd be like the thing where like it gets a bit too good and it gets a bit too tall, so we just end up cutting everything at the knees in order to get it back to where it was before. And then at that point, what's the point?
Mm-hmm. Besides, if you want it in your game, homebrew it in.
Yeah, like I don't think it'll be that problematic if you just go, all right, fine, but you also get the +1 difficulty if you try doing it at that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
Alright. Next up, discussion. AoE interaction with being prone. I don't think that should give you any bonuses or anything.
Like, that's fair. I mean, it should still affect it normally. I think I just got told to put that on there at one point. I think due to wild traditions.
Probably.
Yeah, it was due to wild traditions because Narashi was prone, and then there was the AoEs by the Meowth getting shot out. And then so I got told to write down prone interaction with AoE.
Right.
We should just keep it simple. If it's arranged, it's arranged. If it's not arranged, it's not arranged. Just to keep it clean.
That, because, if you want to take other things, whatever. Those other things that interact with AoE.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, we can go that route.
It also, invokes Kiss, so,
Are we going to have to put, like, a kiss mark somewhere in our book at some point in time? Just that way people understand why some of the rules are some of the rules?
Just put it as a footnote at the start of the book.
So who are we hiring to kiss a page and send it in for the official mark?
Obviously, Raigen's doing that.
Ah.
He's
They're
the
not
kissy
here to
panda.
The king of the moi.
Mwah wah.
Anyways, we're just going to go ahead and keep that as a kiss. That works pretty nicely.
Kiss Kusei.
All right, so next thing that we can start talking about that we might actually have time for is some of the aura stuff. So I wrote the initial part, so I'm going to go over that for people who are listening. I wrote, can we please buff Heatstroke and Aura of Cold to scale? They are literally the worst auras in the game and are usually only used for flavor. In addition, also, maybe rename Aura of Cold to something like Cold Snap or Flash Freeze. It feels really awkward to say, I'm going to activate my Aura of Cold.
I like Flash Freeze.
Yeah, but also most of that goes for the reverse feats of Amplification and Smite the Wicked, because they do the same thing, just the opposite. As a reminder for what they do, I'm just going to use Heatstroke for an example. If someone is using a physical damaging ability, inside of your aura range, they get 1 less power die on the attack. That's what that does. Now, they have some niche use early game because it makes up a comparatively larger percentage of people's attacks. So you really feel it like early game. And then people start getting actual numbers to their attacks, and their attacks start having like 15 power dice, and you take like 1 away. And then you just start sitting there thinking, okay, why am I spending a quick action getting this up? It isn't doing much.
Yeah.
In order to make it even worthwhile XP-wise, you have to have 6 or 7 attacks be affected by it. 5 for EXP neutrality, but you have to spend a quick action to activate it in the first place, so I'm saying 6 or 7 to account for you having to spend an action to put the damn thing up. I guess now you could have it be up at the start of the fight, but,
Excuse me, why doesn't it, like, scale with, like, a tribute scale or something, then?
Because the last time I brought this up, people got worried about stuff like this scaling. Because
could mean
it
something.
technically affects every single square in your aura range. So that's potentially going to affect like 10 to 15 enemies. But that's also assuming that you're like completely surrounded at that point. Or you have like a massive aura. But it's like, as it is now, like it's really useful in like the 8 to 10 attribute range. It's still kind of useful a little bit on the 10 to 14 range. And then after that, like, no one uses it. Most of the auras in the game aren't used at all except for Soothing Warmth, which is basically just a party must pick. Almost every single game has someone picking up Soothing Warmth at some point or another. And I don't want to nerf Soothing Warmth because it's fun to use. I want to get the other auras to actually be good.
What I am thinking, which I'm not sure, because I know we have a lot of auras, so I'm not sure how much this would work here. I am thinking that we make it scale on the user's highest social skill. Or attribute scale. One of those. Probably attribute scale, actually, because you can max out one of your
Probably
social
attribute.
skills. And I think that should apply to all of them, including Soothing Warmth. Which is going to be a debuff to that, but it's also, you know, it's just good. Maybe a little too good,
well,
because trying to get past that much preventative HP every turn does... It's not easy to do. A lot of attacks wind up just doing chip damage.
Yeah, but that's also if, you know, you're just doing unfocused attacks. I legitimately like having it scale off of a skill because that leaves it open to you picking up a specialty for making that particular ability of it better.
My concern...
I do like that for like breath and stuff like that.
What were we saying there?
Good.
Go ahead, Era.
I said I do like that portion of Mythic Wrath and stuff. Adjacent.
All right. So if it's scaled off of a skill, then it does mean that a player, if they want to invest in it in particular, can put the resources in to make it better. But at the same time, it also makes it so that it has the potential of it scaling a little bit out of control because someone's put in the resources.
Well, STs have to approve.
Is that what I'm hearing?
STs do have to approve all specialties and masteries, so...
Yeah.
Sure.
The highest they can get it without specific approval would be 5. And you can rush that like pretty quickly, but then again at that point, you know, you're rushing a skill.
Yeah, which is my concern, because, you know, like, if we have it scale, like the ones that reduce the amount of dice that you have, they rush it to 5, and, you know...
Shut down early encounters.
Yeah, completely shut them down. Just completely gone. And that is my concern there, is the early encounters just... Like, it'll carry them to the end of the game, because -5 dice is always useful, you know, to apply to an enemy. But at the start of a campaign, it's... You can get to that before you're even attribute 10. Granted,
Yeah.
you're going
I
to have
mean-
nothing else going on your character, but that is still you are just one part of this party, and you've just shut down literally everybody else.
Yeah, well, the thing is that if we want to do things that are broadly effective about the same amount across the entire game, because otherwise people would rush them, we could make it so that way, like the ones that are affecting the dice amounts at -1 dice, which is good early game, and then afterwards it's basically useless. We could have it be accuracy difficulty. That doesn't directly increase damage, but it does change, like, hit and crit chances.
I'm okay with difficulty changes, it's just that then they're not going to scale at all.
Well, it scales with the amount of, dice that you're
Dice
putting
being
into it, then.
used.
Yeah, fair.
Which wouldn't
it'll
scale
just
the
knock it down.
aura, it would just scale the, like, how much you're using it, technically.
It wouldn't need to scale because it just scales its effectiveness by itself.
Yeah. There is also the possibility that we introduce passive versus active auras, and, like, sort of reintroduce having to spend a quick action to maintain some auras as they are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want
Where-
to do that, though.
Yeah, I don't want to, but, like,
Yeah.
that could be a way to, like, balance things is, because, like, I do like the idea of people being able to buff up the feats that they're using if it's a one that scales numbers and doesn't affect difficulty, and instead it's a number scaler. It, like, leaves them open to being able to do things like pick up specialties for that ability.
I actually also like the difficulty changes, though, because that is easy.
Yeah, that's easy. That's always going to be available. Of course, that's going to be like a strong thing for people to pick up, technically, especially because, as long as you can justify and your ST approves it, you can make versions of those in any single given affinity. But, like, I can't say that that's better than Soothing Warmth. It just gives it competition now.
So,
It brings some
I
of the
think-
other auras into contention.
I'm liking the change of difficulty, for sure. I think for Soothing Warmth, I think that one should be attribute scale. Maybe we can put in a upgrade feat for it that makes it where it's 2 times attribute scale. I'm not really opposed to that, because that'll require more investment for it, but it's... As for the others, yeah, I like the difficulty change. I think that's a step in the right direction on them. And maybe we should consider increasing aura range a bit earlier. How does aura range scale right now? I forget.
The 5 feet on aura times character attribute scale. And then at attribute 20, you unlock a feat that lets you start scaling it by +10 every time you pick it up. Which means that, if you want to invest in auras, you have to get to attribute 20 in order to unlock the feat that lets you do that. At which point, then you just get, like, you go from being 15 range on your auras, in all directions, mind you. to being 30 feet in all directions.
So for that feat, I think we should lower it to... I think it's going to require Presence 3. But no attribute scale requirement. Or attribute requirement there. But
what
I
about...
say we drop it to 5 feet instead of 10.
Still purchasable 4 times?
Yes.
Okay, well, because one thing that I'm thinking about when it comes to that, at least, is... First off, I don't think it should be just Presence 3. Maybe just, like, having 3 an asocial stat, so, like, Social 3, however I want to describe that.
Fair. Like, we have established that, 4 social skills. We could go with that. What else were you thinking on it?
The thing that I'm thinking about it is still that I know that it can be a little bit difficult to get past like the amount of preventative health that Soothing Warmth provides. I still don't know about reducing it that much, because there are ways of dealing with it.
I'm realizing I forgot that Kin has Soothing Warmth.
Yeah, you actually have this one.
Yeah.
You know what? What if we go halvesies on it? Where it's like, half attribute scale plus half highest social. Still lets you scale it with specialties.
I like that.
Attribute plus skill divide by 2.
It would be skill divide by 2 plus attribute. Order
No,
does.
it'd be attribute divided by 5, round down, plus skill divided by 2, round as usual.
Attribute level.
Attribute scale, which is divided by
Blech.
5.
I'm tired. I might need a break soon.
That's fair.
Attribute scale plus parentheses skill divided by 2 and parentheses. There.
Yeah, that is correct.
Proper notation, just because.
And then for other ones, if they're potentially even more than that, like for instance the pure aura buffing soul save, we could just keep it at like half attribute. Or tie it to a specific attribute, or just keep it at attribute scale.
Yeah.
Vara, I thought you were already at an effective 5 due to a boon item. Because it's divide by 2, so you'd be at +3 anyway. So it would be 2 plus 3 on your current character sheet. So actually, I think your Soothing Warmth just stayed the exact same after all this. Like, with where you are at right now, I think it just stayed literally the exact same. And if you close your eyes,
All right, so about putting you in a box.
But yeah. So for the not conditional, for the category based plus or minus, we're fine with difficulty on accuracy, right?
Yes.
Just whatever flavor version of that. We're fine with that.
Yep.
What do we want to do about stuff like pure aura, which scales soul save?
Just attribute scale, probably, because soul save and integrities and stuff like that are...
Yeah, so that would mean that, like, at a tier 1 character, it'd be +1 soul save, at a tier 2 character, it'd be +2 soul save, as a tier 3 character, it'd be +3 soul save going forth.
Yes, and that is already very strong.
That definitely is.
And very hashtag worth. So I see no reason to add anything to that. But that allows scaling, and it's at least appropriate level scaling. It's
It'll also
something that
help
can
cleansing.
be done against.
That also helps
Yeah.
cleanse us.
As at least one of my character's feats pools grows even more.
So true. Time to bully Ren into buying this on Rain.
Right? Holy goodness.
Maybe not right away, but like soonish.
RGB is going to have, and Hex are just going to be piles of feats.
This is true. But then again, I'm already used to buying tanky feats on a character who looks at Nova.
Yeah. I'm used to... No, that's about correct.
By the end of season 1, I'm pretty sure I had like I forget if it was 9 feats or 11 feats, but that's how many feats I had just by the end of season 1. My early game build was all feats. All right.
Hashtag medic life. Not to be confused with meta life. I am not insurance.
By the way, do we want to rename Aura of Cold to something like Cold
good
Snap
with
or
that.
whatever?
Cold snaps.
I'm fine with
Because
I like
for
Cold
being-
Snap.
Cold Snap.
Cold Snap is cool.
Yeah, because I never want to say I want to activate my Aura of Cold again.
But
I was
Aura.
getting tired of it.
But Aura.
Aura of cold.
What
Aura, aura. Aura, aura, aura.
Cold! Dum, dum.
Or a cold snap, or a deep freeze, or a blizzard, or a
Cold Snap's fine.
Blizzard.
cold snap's good.
I'm not going to allow a decision perilous to appear in this particular situation. We have a name. It's good. Bangs Gavel. Still with us, Sim?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Now would probably be the best time to end. After Tal's done writing.
Yep, as I quickly go and reference what the last fucking thing in this cycle is, because I can't remember the name. The hell was it? Oh, no, I wrote it down. Amplification, that was it.
Except we have another half hour.
No, we don't. We got like 20 minutes.
Tomato,
Before the
tomato.
tabletop. And I would also like a short break so I can go get caffeination and food because I have not eaten.
Okay.
I appreciate being allowed to eat sometimes.
I ate beforehand.
I didn't have the energy. I got off a call where I was pounced. My boss is leaving. And somebody contacted me, is like, hey, where are all these things? I was like, I don't know. They're like, why not? I was like, because those were things my boss tracked, not me.
Yeah.
Well, do you know about this? Yes, this is the information I know. Why do you do it that way? Ask my boss.
By the way, I'm about to be gone Thanos snap this discussion for application dice stat change because I never want to see that.
Application dice snap. What?
Stat change. A stat change to get more application dice.
Oh yeah.
No, that can
Yeah.
snap.
It's on our discussion list. I have it highlighted. I want to kill it.
Then kill it.
Kill it
Wait,
dead.
why? What? What?
No. Absolutely the fuck not. It's already the best of the game.
Why is that even a discussion point?
I don't know. It's been sitting there for weeks and it's been bothering me. I wanted it dead.
There's a good chance that during one of the games, somebody brought up something and we threw it on the list for the purposes that we're in the middle of a game. We're not going to discuss it right now.
Yeah. Also,
and then
Vari.
all of us looked at it and went, no.
Yeah, Vari. I think it's really dumb if people save up XP like they're going to start getting EXP bank investment returns or something, compared to just spending the damn XP. Because there is almost always something you're gonna want if you just look at what's available.
That's why respecking during long rests are a thing.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add XP bank mechanic,
Oh dear.
where you lose XP if you bank it.
If you don't use it, you lose it.
Oh, we're doing it? Never mind. I can't make that joke.
No.
I can make that joke. It's just I fear who will come if I make that joke.
You can make that joke. You don't want to make that joke.
Yes. We'll go with that.
Alright, so
I'm still writing stuff, but yeah.
I know we didn't go over the 1.6 sheet. But as far as that goes, I guess we just put it out there, be like, hey, this is our plan for the final version. Last chance to give feedback.
Yeah, okay, look, I'm just gonna say, when it comes to that, if you feel like looking at it, the only part of it that I really actually want people to look at all, because it's a little bit of a mess, but I didn't know what else to do, is the items and notes page. That's like the only one that I even damn well cared about having people look over.
I guess I'll get to QA testing this weekend.
Gabby.
I was like,
I mean, all right.
Alright, though. We'll go ahead and wrap this up while you're still typing there. Do the break thing, I guess.
I guess we'll take a
require
break.
So, thank you everybody for joining us so far on the stream today. That was DevTales! Check out our website, zgfgaming.com. We've got links for our Discord, Telegram, Mastodon, Blue Sky, Patreon, and more. They are on the website as well as down in the description below through our link tree. Thank you to my patrons, tippers, and subscribers. You all keep this channel alive. You keep it going. I cannot do this without you guys. Thank you so much. Consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/zgfgaming. It's one of the best ways to help out the channel, though you can also do so by grabbing packs of cards to stream loot, going and giving us feedback on our SCAR system available on itch.io as well as our Discord, or subscribing to us on YouTube. But for now, thank you so much for joining, and I bid you all the most fondest adieu.
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Bye.